Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Nurul Fahdah. Today I have a story to tell you. It's the story about the legend of the Pesut Mahakam. Once upon a time, there was a small village in Rantau Mahakam, Kalimantan Timur. In that village lived a small happy family, but the happiness didn't last long because the mother was very sick. They could find the cure until death took their mother. The father, who loved his wife very much, was grief-stricken. He became gloomy and had no motivation to work. His two children became neglected. This situation went on until one season has passed from seeding time to cropping time. In that village, every time cropping time came, there's always a party being held. One of the main acts was a dance performed by ladies. All of the villagers went to watch the dancing performance, including the father and his two children. While watching the performance, the father was attracted to one of the dancers. He thought it's about time to find someone to be a new mother for his children. He felt sorry to see his child being neglected, and so the dancer's son agreed to be his wife. Finally, the life of the family returned. His new wife was willing to take care of his son and daughter. So the father gained back his life, became careful again, and got back to work. Too bad the children's happiness did not last long. Their new mother decided to care for them just because she wanted to win their father's heart. Her behavior had no change. She started to act a dictator. She fed the two children with leftover food. They are being sent to the forest to collect wood for fire. The father, who loved his new wife, could do anything because he thought he could live without his new wife. One day, the new mother told the son and the daughter to collect wood in a very large number. Collect 20 bundles of firewood for me today. Don't come home until you collect them all, or else I'll tell your father. Realizing the father was blinded by his love to his new wife, of the children went to the forest. Sister, there's so much wood that we have to take home. We don't have enough time to get them today. We must spend the night here in the forest. If you come home today, Mother will punish us, said the son to his little sister. And they spent the night embracing each other in a tree hole. The next morning, they continued their duty. For their starving stomach, they searched for food. When the sun almost set, they could finally go home, bringing 20 bundles of wood. They went home straight away. They climbed the ladder and got in. When they opened the door, they saw an empty house. How surprised they were! They were left behind by their parents. Oh, that's why their mother told them to collect so many woods, to give her enough time to move. Finally, they decided to go to find their father. Some nice neighbors gave them food. 3 days later, they reached the bank of Mahakam River. An old man was standing in front of his hut. The two children, who never lost hope of feeding their father, came to the old man. "Excuse me, sir, have you seen our parents passing by?" they asked the old man. After a short pause, the old man answered, "Oh, yes, just a couple of days ago. There were a man and a woman stopping here. They brought a lot of stuff. They said they're going to settle somewhere across the river." The children were very sure that the people the old man was telling them about were their parents. So they thanked the old man and borrowed his boat. They paddled the boat and saw a small hut. "Brothers, that's Brother's street hanging. That is their house. We found them." The little sister got excited. As the boat reached the river bank, they ran towards the house. They climbed up and got in, but there's nobody inside. They found a pot of porridge being cooked on the fire. Their mother must have had forgotten to set the fire off. Having had a very long walk, they felt so hungry, and they ate that very tasty looking porridge. A couple of minutes later, they felt a very thing happening. Their body felt very hot, as if being burned in a fire. They drank glasses of water until there was no matter left to drink. But they still felt very hot. So they went up. They hung a banana tree trying to cool their body, but the tree became faded. Finally, they plunged themselves into the river. Not long after that, both children changed into two fish. Their heads looked like the head of a maid. Meanwhile, the father of two children and his wife had just arrived at the hut. He saw two mandals which he recognized as his children. Taking no time to think, he went to find his children outside. He couldn't find anyone. He saw footprints heading to the river, so he ran to the river. By the river, he saw two fishes swimming near the river bank, once in a while tossing their head out and squirting some water from their head. When he wanted to tell his wife about all the fish, he saw his wife magically disappear. Then he realized that his new wife was not an ordinary woman. The father felt very sorry for neglecting the children for a mean woman. Now, the fish with a head which looks like a man is called Pesut Mahakam. The end. This is enough for my story. Thank you for attention and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.